What if everything you know about reality is incomplete? What if, beyond what your eyes can see, there is a vast field of possibilities where different versions of you are living lives you never imagined? The science of quantum physics and the intriguing theory of the multiverse suggest exactly this, that what we consider reality is just a small part of a much larger whole. Get ready to explore a revolutionary perspective that challenges traditional concepts and opens the door to a universe full of mysteries and unlimited potential. Imagine, for a moment, that there is a version of you living in another reality, a life completely different from your own. Maybe, in that alternative universe, you took the path you hesitated to choose, made the decision that seemed too risky, or pursued a dream you left behind long ago. What would that life be like? Would it have more challenges? Or perhaps more joys? The idea is compelling. What if every choice you didn't make is now creating a new parallel reality? Think of how many times you've wondered, what if, throughout your life? What if you had accepted that dream job in another city? What if you had followed your heart instead of logic? These questions often lead us to reflect on how our decisions shape our reality. But what if there are versions of you, in different realities, living out all those choices? Could those other versions of yourself teach you something valuable about how to live here and now? Quantum physics suggests that the universe might be far more vast and complex than we can imagine. Within a realm full of parallel realities and endless possibilities, you are not confined to just one life, but could be simultaneously existing in multiple ones. And if, somewhere, there is a version of you who has already achieved what you so deeply desire, how could you tap into that wisdom, learn from these alternative lives, and bring powerful insights into your own journey? The idea that your choices create new branches in the universe isn't just poetic, it's a genuine possibility within multiverse theory. Imagine that every decision, from the simplest to the most complex, can trigger an infinite set of realities. It's like you're constantly writing new pages in the book of your existence. Science and spirituality can converge here, as each act of conscious intention becomes a point of superposition where infinite possibilities await manifestation. What if I told you that you can connect with those other versions of yourself? This is not just a mystical fantasy, it's a practical exercise that can expand your awareness and reveal new ways to create your own reality. By visualizing these versions, you can bring to the present an inner strength, a connection that resonates with all your parts scattered across the multiverse. It's a process of deep self-discovery, where you begin to understand that all of your versions live within you. Many people report experiencing déjà vu or a sensation of having lived something before. Have you ever considered that this might be a sign of parallel realities intersecting? These mysterious moments could be evidence that your consciousness is, in some way, in contact with these other versions. These stories show us that the creation of reality might be more fluid and dynamic than we think, suggesting that our alternative lives are closer than we imagine. Now imagine that you have the power to shape your reality, not just based on the choices you make here, but also on the ones other versions of you have made in different dimensions. What if there were a way to learn from those choices, to capture the intentions and experiences lived in other realities, and apply them now? This requires an open mind and spirit, an alignment with the infinite possibilities of who you could become. This is just the beginning of a fascinating journey where science and spirituality walk hand in hand. As we go deeper, we'll see how these concepts can be applied in practice to transform the way we live and experience reality. Let's explore together what quantum physics, multiverse theories, and personal insights can teach us about creating the desired reality. And who knows what we might discover when we look beyond what we consider real. Quantum physics, at its core, introduces ideas that challenge our traditional understanding of the world. Think, for instance, of how an object can be in two places at once. This is quantum superposition. A particle can exist in multiple states until something or someone observes it. Imagine a coin spinning in the air. Until it lands, it is both heads and tails. This concept, while complex, shows us that everything around us is full of unrealized potential. Then there's quantum entanglement, where two particles, even when separated by vast distances, remain mysteriously connected. If one changes, the other changes instantly, as if they were performing an invisible dance across the universe. This suggests that, somehow, there's an unseen web linking everything together. And this idea can extend to our lives. Our actions and thoughts create ripples that travel beyond what we can see. Think of your thoughts as a stone thrown into a calm lake. The waves created by that stone spread in all directions, affecting everything in their path. The same happens when you make a decision or set an intention. Quantum physics shows us that our intentions have the power to shape what we call reality. Every thought is a small stone cast into the vast lake of the universe. When we talk about alternate realities, these concepts become even more intriguing. If superposition allows something to exist in multiple states, perhaps our own existence has multiple versions coexisting, waiting to be noticed. It's like standing in a hallway with countless doors. Each choice opens a unique path, but all the doors exist at the same time. You just need to decide which one you want to walk through. Some people believe that science and spirituality are opposites, but through the lens of quantum physics, we see that both can speak the same language. Spirituality teaches us about the interconnectedness of all things, something modern physics now suggests is true at the quantum level. It's not just theory, it's an invitation to see the world with a new perspective, where everything seems more connected, more purposeful. To make this more tangible, think about what happens when you focus your attention on something specific, like a goal or desire. That focus, or intention, is like a beam of light in a dark room, revealing shapes and paths that were hidden before. Modern science is beginning to understand that, just as an observer can influence the state of a particle, we can influence our reality with the right intention. By understanding these connections, we start to see that we live in a universe where possibilities are infinite, and our choices have more weight than we imagine. Quantum physics challenges us to think beyond the ordinary, to question the linearity of time and causality as we learned in school. If everything is interconnected and every choice creates a ripple, do we not play a more active role in creating our destiny? These concepts may seem complex, but they are closer than you think. By understanding how the principles of quantum physics apply to our existence, we start to view the world with fresh eyes, ready to explore what is yet to come. The journey does not end here. There is much more to discover about how these ideas connect with the infinite possibilities of your life. Imagine a universe filled with branching paths, where each choice opens up a new route. This is the concept of the multiverse, an endless array of realities where every decision, big or small, creates a new trajectory, a new version of your journey. At every moment, we are creating branches, like the roots of an infinite tree. What if, in one of those paths, you are already living the life you always wanted? In a world where all choices are possible, what does that say about what you can truly be? Consider the opportunities that emerge with every decision. They are not just isolated options, but doorways to new existences, new ways of being. Perhaps, somewhere, you are a famous artist or an adventurer exploring distant lands. The multiverse invites us to reflect on the richness and depth of our capabilities, often lying dormant. This idea might seem abstract, but if we look at our everyday lives, it's easy to see how a simple decision can change everything. Think back to a time when you hesitated to take an important step. Perhaps, in an alternate universe, you moved forward, creating a different fate. The multiverse is not just an exotic theory, it is a reminder that we are the protagonists of multiple, perhaps infinite, narratives. To understand the impact of multiple realities, it's interesting to observe the possibilities around us. Have you ever thought that by making a conscious choice, you are not only deciding for yourself, but also influencing other versions of you in different places? It's as if, by choosing a path, your other versions are adjusting their courses in response. This suggests there is a subtle, almost imperceptible dance between our various selves. If every choice creates a new unfolding, it's possible our lives are, in fact, multiple movies happening simultaneously, each with its plot, storyline, and end. Rather than just being mere spectators, we are also the directors and writers of these stories. It's a powerful way to view our lives as works in constant evolution. From this perspective, the question is no longer whether we have choices, but how we are shaping our experiences. If, indeed, there are other versions of ourselves living different journeys, what can they teach us? How can we use this perspective to expand our vision of who we are and what we want to be? Somewhere, there might be a you who has already overcome the challenges you face now. Why not learn from them? Viewing existence from this new angle gives us a renewed sense of agency. We are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, but in a field of unexplored possibilities. The multiverse invites us to be curious and bold, to see our lives as dynamic experiences that we can always reshape, reinvent. Every choice, no matter how small, is an invitation to explore a universe of new opportunity. And so, how can we apply this understanding to transform our reality? That's the question that leads to the next step, where we will begin exploring practical ways to connect with these other versions and bring back valuable lessons. This exploration does not end here, it just starts unfolding in new directions. Now, imagine for a moment that you can establish a mental connection with different aspects of yourself, scattered across countless realities. This exercise is a way to expand your perception beyond the boundaries of what you consider you. Close your eyes and visualize a circle around you, filled with doors that lead to different versions of yourself. Behind each door, there is a unique experience, a wisdom that can be accessed to enrich your own journey. Think about a challenge you are facing. It might be a difficult decision or an uncertain path ahead. Instead of trying to solve it with the usual resources, try a different approach. Ask yourself what that version of you, the one who made another choice, would do. How would they overcome this obstacle? Listen carefully to the answer, without judgment. Let the ideas come naturally, like whispers from afar that make perfect sense. A good starting point for this practice is guided meditation. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. Imagine yourself floating, being gently carried by a current that takes you to these other selves. When you encounter a version of yourself, ask what they know that you have yet to realize. What could they teach you about facing the present with courage and calm? The more you practice, the clearer and more enriching this internal communication will become. Some call it intuition, others call it deep insight. The name doesn't matter as much as the effect. You begin to receive answers, ideas, and inspirations that seem to come from a source beyond yourself. The key is to trust the process, even if it feels strange at first. It's not about seeking confirmations, but about creating space for new possibilities you haven't considered yet. There are many ways to connect with these parts of yourself. Creative visualization, for example, is a powerful technique involving imagining scenarios where your other versions are present. You can use paper and pen to draw or write what you feel each of these versions represents. Which one seems to have the solution you are looking for right now? Which one seems more aligned with your deepest desires and aspirations? If you need an example, think of a situation where you have to make a decision. Instead of simply listing pros and cons, visualize how each version of you, in different realities, would handle the same choice. Observe the different approaches, analyze what you can learn from each, and then bring that knowledge to the present moment. This not only broadens your options, but also creates a new way of understanding your abilities. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Gradually, you will begin to notice that this connection with your other versions can bring surprising clarity to issues that previously seemed complicated. There may not be a single method for everything, but there is always a new perspective to explore. And it is this openness to the unknown that allows creative and transformative solutions to emerge. Now that you've experienced a glimpse of this practice, let's move on to explore fascinating stories of people who have reported experiences touching on this field. Discover how everyday accounts and scientific data can bring even more clarity to all of this. There are many fascinating accounts of people who, at some point in their lives, felt as if they had been transported to another timeline. Some mention intense feelings of déjà vu, as if they were reliving moments that never actually happened. Others recount vivid dreams where they experienced lives that are not their own. While this might sound like pure fantasy, these experiences suggest that something deeper may be happening within our perception. There are also documented cases of individuals who, in moments of crisis or difficult decisions, reported having a vision of an alternative future. It is as if they glimpsed a different path they could take, and these visions often resulted in significant changes in their lives. For some, these moments brought clarity and a new perspective, providing unexpected insight into what they needed to do. Science, for its part, is beginning to explore these possibilities. Some researchers suggest that the human mind may be capable of accessing different states of consciousness, allowing us to glimpse alternatives we don't usually see. In laboratories, experiments have already been conducted indicating that the brain can process information in ways we do not yet fully understand. This type of study is just beginning to unravel the mysteries behind these unusual perceptions. One notable example is the phenomenon of lost time, where people claim to have experienced an unexplainable disconnection between events and chronological time. A woman reported that during a walk, she found herself in a place she didn't recognize, but felt strangely familiar. After a few minutes, she returned to the same starting point, with no logical explanation. Stories like this challenge our traditional understanding of time and space. Other examples come from the field of alternative therapies, where some practitioners use techniques like regression or unconscious exploration to access memories or sensations that seem to come from other realities. These practices, though controversial, indicate that our minds may be much more flexible than we suppose. It's a field full of enigmas and potential discoveries. There are also accounts of mystical experiences, where people feel as if they have visited a life that is not theirs. They speak of encounters with unknown figures in places they have never seen before, but that feel familiar. These episodes often occur during moments of deep meditation or spiritual practices, suggesting a link between elevated states of consciousness and the perception of new dimensions. For some, these stories are mere coincidences, but for others, they are proof that there is something beyond our current understanding. The line between personal experience and scientific knowledge is still being drawn, but each new account and study expands our understanding of what might be possible. And as we seek to understand these realities, we continue to explore how we can use this knowledge to shape our own experiences. In the next step, we will see how to apply these ideas in practice to create the kind of life we truly want to live. To transform your life into something that truly resonates with your desires, it's essential to begin acting with intention. Instead of allowing external circumstances to determine your path, you can become the active creator of your own journey. First, it's crucial to clearly define what you truly want. Don't just think about material outcomes, but also about the sense of fulfillment these changes would bring. An effective approach is to practice focused concentration. Dedicate a few minutes every day to imagine yourself already experiencing what you aspire to achieve. Dive deeply into this mental scene, see the colors, smell the scents, hear the sounds. When you visualize with this intensity, you're training your mind to recognize and create opportunities that align with that goal. Another practical way to shape what you desire is to adopt small daily routines that reflect your aspirations. It could be as simple as starting the day with an inspiring read or taking a few moments to jot down your thoughts. These seemingly small gestures, repeated over time, help to strengthen the internal structure you are building. For those seeking more immediate changes, the nightly review technique can be powerful. Before sleeping, mentally review your day. Identify the moments when you acted in line with what you truly desire and those when you did not manage to align yourself. Imagine how you could have acted differently, always with kindness and compassion for yourself. This practice allows you to adjust your course daily. Often, we look for immediate results, but it's important to remember that each step forward, no matter how small, is already a move towards what we seek. Learn to value these smaller achievements. Every progress counts, like a brick in the construction of a larger structure. And, while doing so, recognize the lessons that come with challenges and To sustain this transformation, connect with others who are on similar paths. This exchange can bring new perspectives and support your growth. Attending groups or workshops, participating in online forums, or even having meaningful conversations with friends can be ways to enrich this journey. Ultimately, the central point is not just knowing what you want, but also firmly believing that it is possible to achieve it. This sense of confidence is what fuels the constant movement toward your dream. And with every step you take, you're not only getting closer to your goals, but also expanding your understanding of your own potential. As you dive into this process, you'll notice that creating your reality is less about a fixed destination and more about the path you choose to walk every day. Now, let's explore stories of those who have successfully traveled this path and understand what these experiences can teach us. Now that you've started to see the world from a new perspective, what will you do with all this knowledge? How will you use these ideas to transform your own life? Perhaps it's time to look at your choices through a different lens and see the infinite possibilities unfolding before you. Remember, the power to shape your reality is in your hands. Share your experiences in the comments and join this community of explorers of the unknown. And to keep learning how to expand your consciousness and potential, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's so much more to come. If you've already begun exploring the many versions of yourself, don't miss the next video. It brings a direct message from your higher self, something that could be exactly what you need to hear right now. Get ready to dive even deeper into this journey of self-discovery and connection with dimensions you might not have explored yet.